Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of E.W. Jackson for America. Now, I want to apologize to you for the sound problems. Those were entirely mine. That was entirely my fault yesterday. But so those of you who kind of powered through that, thank you. But let me ask you to do this for me. Anytime there's a problem with our programming, please call me. I'm going to give you my number, 757-375-6444. Just call 757-375-6444 and say, hey, problem with the sound, problem with the video, I can't see it, whatever. Let us know, okay? Because we need your help in order to do some quality control. We should catch this stuff ourselves, but sometimes we don't. And I should have caught that yesterday, but I didn't. So my apologies. Back with you again today. Everything should be good today. In fact, believe it or not, yesterday I had technicians come in, so looking at our studio, going through the whole thing over some improvements. I think I've told you we want to expand the nature of this program. I want to have guests on. I want to do other things. I want to be able to do video and basically bring other things into the program to make it more than just me sitting here talking to you. And we're working on that. Of course, these things all cost money, but we're committed to getting it done. And by the grace of God, and with your help, we're going to. So I want to ask you today, please don't forget my new book, Sweet Land of Liberty, Reflections of a Patriot Descended from Slaves. And you can get this book wherever books are sold, wherever books are sold. You can get it directly from our publisher at faithfultext.com, faithfultext.com, for a 15% discount. That's because there's no middleman, so we're not going through any bookstore. You're buying it directly from the publisher. Faithfultext.com, you get a 15% discount on the purchase of the book there. If you'd like to support our work, and we got a lot of stuff going on, folks, a lot of stuff going on. We've got our Stand Awards dinner coming up on May the 16th, Tuesday, May the 16th at the Tyson's Corner Marriott at 7 p.m. I hope you'll come. Tickets are $150. This is our biggest fundraiser of the year. I hope you'll pray for us. I hope you'll support us. And even if you can't come, make a donation toward it, because it's expensive to put on. And of course, we need to raise a lot of money to make it worthwhile, to put the time, the energy, the effort, and spend the money that needs to be spent in order to pull it off. Last year, we had 200 people in attendance. This year, we're shooting for close to 300. So we've started a little early with selling tickets. Tickets are available now. You can buy tickets now, and I hope you will. You can also sponsor the dinner, and you'll see that on standamerica.us, standamerica.us for the sponsorships. They start with the Patrick Henry sponsorship at $1,500 and go all the way up to the George Washington sponsorship at $25,000. So I hope you'll support at whatever level, in whatever way you can. We're also starting something brand new this year. We're starting something called the Celebrate Traditional Family Month, which is going to go from Mother's Day to Father's Day. And what we're going to do is uphold and highlight the traditional two-parent monogamous family. One man, one woman in the bonds of holy matrimony, raising children. So we are going to take this abomination of Gay Pride Month, whatever that means. We're going to take that abomination and we're going to replace it with what it ought to be. We ought to be celebrating motherhood and fatherhood, manhood and womanhood, husbands and wives and children, bringing their children up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord and in the values that made America great and made it possible for individuals to excel to the highest and make our country the most prosperous, most powerful, most wealthy, most free country in the history of mankind. So we're going to be celebrating that. Celebrate Traditional Family Month from Mother's Day to Father's Day. And we're going to do that every year. And of course, you already know, we've got Celebrate American History Month that starts in September, where we celebrate our Judeo-Christian history and values and background. And we got so much polemic and accusations and opprobrium and vilification of America in our history. I thought we need to celebrate America. We need to celebrate our history. We need to celebrate who we are and what we represent. And so we've got all that going on. September 16th, we're planning a sacred assembly to save America, a sacred assembly to save America. That's September 16th. We're looking for 1 million Americans across the country to show up, at least 1 million. I hope you will put it on your calendar now, September 16th. We are in the process of getting that all worked out and laid out. We're working with the National Park Service and all that to get that done. It's going to be at the Lincoln Memorial. It's going to be a great event, folks. I hope that you will come because I really believe it's going to be an event that will rock the country. I'm serious, that will rock the country because we've got to come back to the values that made this country great. And if we don't, we're going to lose our country because there are people who are working overtime to destroy this country or certainly to subvert us as a constitutional republic and turn us into some sort of secular, socialist, Marxist, totalitarian nation. I mean, they're working overtime at it. Well, I just gave you a big, broad agenda of things that we're doing because we're working overtime to save our country and to make sure that America remains the great nation that I think God intended and our founding fathers intended, and that we cast all of this socialist, Marxist nonsense, all of this gender confusion, all of this amoral ideology and philosophy that they're trying to push on our country, that we cast that onto the dung heap of human history. Somebody said I should say trash heap, but the Old Covenant uses the word dung when Paul talks about all of his accomplishments and achievements as a Pharisee and all that. He said, I count these but dung. You know what dung means. Well, we cast on the trash heap, dung heap, whatever your preference is. But all that stuff just cast on the trash and dung heap of human history, never to rise and trouble us again. In addition to that, as you know, we've got a major project that we've been working on now for a couple of years, since 2020, and it's called the Gallery of Forgotten Children, or the Forgotten Children Project. We are chronicling the murders of innocent young kids in the inner cities of our country since the defund the police, the dismantle the police movement began. Our children have been dropping like flies. I say our children, I mean American children in these inner cities have been dropping like flies, gunned down by these thugs, allowed to roam the streets and terrorize the community by these George Soros prosecutors who could care less about innocent people, law-abiding people who need to be able to transact their business and go about their daily affairs. They could care less about them. They're more concerned about the criminal, the predator class that is out there doing harm to others. And so one of the classes of people that they're harming are innocent children, murdered in their beds because of bullets going through the walls, murdered in their backyards, murdered on their bikes, murdered in their parents' cars, murdered playing on their street, just gunned down for just nothing because somebody decided they want to have a shootout and they didn't care who got killed. Right here in my area, in the Richmond area, a young woman and her 3-month-old baby shot dead on the spot out on a nice spring day enjoying the weather, and some thugs decide they're going to have a shootout. And these people are not being killed by white supremacists, and they're not being killed by cops. They're being killed primarily by black thugs roaming the streets who ought to be in prison. Now let's just say it like it is and stop playing these games. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives doesn't matter to that organization. They don't care. They care about Marxism. Karl Marx matters. That's what matters to them. Karl Marx. Well, I know that's a big agenda, folks. That's one of the reasons why we're asking you to help us to get to 500 Patriot Partners by the end of this year. 500 Patriot Partners. And this is an incentive that we're offering. If you sign up as a Patriot Partner at $25 a month or more, or you sign up as an annual donor for $300 or more, we will send you a signed, numbered copy of my book. A signed, numbered copy of my book. I forget what number we're at now, but it's we're close to about 60 Patriot Partners, 60 more people who've signed up since I started this program, and we're trying to get to 500. That means we went from 238 when I started it, and I'm pretty sure we're close to 300 now. So we're 200 away from reaching our goal. And thank you for all the help that you've given us. And by the way, that's within striking distance, because based upon what we've been able to do And I just started this on January the 18th, 20th, thereabouts. So February, so about a month, month and a half, not quite 2 months. So in 2 months, we've added about 60 Patriot partners. So we've got, if I just, we'll call the year somewhere around January 18th, January 20th, which means we've still got, what, 10 months. We still got a good 10 months to go. So we do that in 2 months. In 10 months, we could reach our goal of 500. Help us do that. Go to standamerica.us, standamerica.us, sign up as a Patriot Partner, and we'll send you a signed, numbered copy of my book if you sign up for $25 or more. Now, by the way, you can become a Patriot Partner for any amount. So if you say, well, Bishop Jackson, I don't have $25 a month, but I'll send you $5 a month. We'll send you a free t-shirt anyway, okay? The book is reserved for those who sign up for $25 or more or make a one-time annual gift of $300 or more. I mean, it's based on your word. We want you to come back and help us again and again and again and again. That's what the Patriot Partner program is all about. We want you to be a Patriot Partner with us, not just a one-time donor, but somebody who sticks with us from year to year, because we're in this until we've saved our country. And that's, I mean, look, the left never sleeps. They never rest. And neither can we. Okay? I want to let you know that next week on the, here we go, on the 25th of March, I will be speaking at the Black Conservative Summit. That's going to take place at the Tinley Park Convention Center at 18451 Convention Center Drive in Tinley Park, Illinois. I hope you, if you are in the area or you can travel to be with us. This is sponsored by Eric Wallace, and I'm looking forward to it because I'm looking forward to getting together with a bunch of black conservatives whose heads are all and hearts are in the right place, so we can talk to each other and strategize with each other about how we free the black community from the Pharaoh-like grip of the demonic Democrat Party, which has really become the party of Antichrist. By the way, I'm going to talk a little bit about this today, but you know what? I think they're fast becoming a party of traitors to our country. It shouldn't surprise us because they don't like America. They don't like our constitutional republic. They don't like our Judeo-Christian values. They don't like our faith in God. They don't like our Christian culture and traditions. They don't like it. So it shouldn't surprise us that they would be more inclined to support a communist regime like Communist China. And I think many of them are. Well, let me get into that now. I woke up this morning, looked at my news feed, and I was amazed at how many stories there are about the influence of China in our country. Now, by the way, if you listen to my radio program, I'll be on a Monday. I'm going to be doing something a little different on my radio program at 1 p.m. Eastern Time Monday on American Family Radio. And by the way, even if you're somewhere where you don't have a radio station that airs our program, we got almost 200 stations across the country, but, and it varies, I think now we're at 192 or something like that, but your telephone becomes your radio station. So if you download the AFR app, just download the American Family Radio app, then you can listen to our programming all the time. You can get my radio program. You plug it into your phone, into your car, and it's as if you got the radio right there, the radio network right there at your disposal to play on your car. Either plug it in wireless or by wire so that you can hear what the app is playing. So at 1 o'clock on Monday, I'm doing a program which I'm implementing now, which will probably air a couple times a month, called The Awakening in Depth. In Depth. And that's where I'm going to devote an entire program to one subject, because most of the time on my radio program, I'm covering a whole variety of subjects, and people are calling in about a whole variety of subjects. And so And so I want you to be able to tune in and get an in-depth analysis about a particular subject. You know what the subject is on Monday? The Chinese Communist Party. The Chinese Communist Party is the subject on Monday. You don't want to miss this. My guest is Gordon Chang, and we're going to be talking to him about the implications of our relationship with China. Well, I woke up this morning and it seemed like everything in my news feed was about China. I've been talking about this now for a couple of years, and it has a lot of different tentacles to it. And so let me try to cover some of those in the time I've got left. And then you make sure you tune in on Monday on American Family Radio, either the radio station near you or download the AFR app, and you'll be able to live stream the program at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, this is very interesting. I learned some things today that I really didn't know. For example, did you know that Jackie Chan is not an American citizen? He is a citizen of Communist China, actually, I guess of Hong Kong, but he identifies with mainland China. But here's something I really didn't know. I didn't know that, but this is shocking and disappointing to me. Jackie Chan aspires to be a member of the Chinese Communist Party. He said so publicly, that that's his desire. Now, they have not accepted him as a member of the party, and they say it's because there's certain things about his background and his character and this, that, and the other, and they're not sure he meets the standards. I don't think that's it at all. I think they gladly have him. I think they want him as an ambassador to the world, and they know that if he is an official member of the Chinese Communist Party, that it won't work. Everyone will be suspicious of what he's up to. And they want him to be free to travel around as an international celebrity and do the bidding of the Communist Party without being an official member of the Communist Party. See, that's just what I've told you before. When I call these people, these Democrats, communists, I know they're not members of the Communist Party. I know that. And they would quickly, oh, well, you know, what do you think you say? But they, just like Jackie Chan, he's not a member of the Chinese Communist Party, but he shares their values. He shares their view. He's publicly said he wants to be part of them. Well, the Democrat Party today is, for all practical purposes, America's Communist Party. They share the values of the Communist Party. They share the collectivism. They share the godlessness, the atheism. It's de facto atheism, even if they say, well, we believe in God, but they don't really believe in God. They believe in a God of their own making. Well, the communists in China have the same view. I mean, they believe in a God of their own making. Right now, the God they believe in is Xi Jinping. They don't believe in private property. I mean, that's quite clear, unless it's their own. But that's the same thing is true with communists. They don't believe in private property for people, but I'll tell you what they have, they want to keep. So I didn't realize that. I won't be watching any more Jackie Chan movies. Not that I've been a big fan of Jackie Chan or anything, but I just thought he was funny and athletic. I won't be watching his movies anymore because, as far as I'm concerned, the man is, well, he's not an American citizen, so you can't call him a traitor. But as far as I'm concerned, he's an infiltrator. Not a traitor, but an infiltrator. So that was something that jumped out at me. Here's something else I didn't know. That the Silicon Valley Bank that just failed had a lot of depositors who are associated with the Communist Party of China. I didn't know that. And there's a question, will they be made whole? Will they get their money back? Well, of course, if they are giving money to people who held deposits above the $250,000 protection limit by the FDIC, and there are Communist Party apparatchiks of China who hold such deposits, and they start making all depositors whole, Well, they're going to be giving money back to the communists of China. I just didn't know, should have known, but didn't know that they had money in our banks. See, that's why I've said in our banks. Of course, I should have known that. I didn't know, but apparently this is a major bank they've been using. But of course, why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they have that money? Because they're a woke bank anyway. They're communists anyway. Basically, de facto, as I've said, I know they're not card-carrying members of the Communist Party, but they think that way. They're collectivists. So it shouldn't surprise us that they would be catering to the Communist Chinese. Now, imagine this. You and I, as taxpayers, are going to probably end up giving money to the Chinese government because their deposits are probably going to be protected along with all the other depositors who ignored the legal limit of their insurance and just deposited millions of dollars, some cases hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank anyway. There it is again. The Communist Party of China, or the Chinese Communist Party. I mean, I had no idea that, but again, we shouldn't be surprised because they have infiltrated every dimension of our society. And before I go any further, let me just, look, I'm not trying to frighten you, and I'm not trying to make you paranoid. I just want us to be aware. I want us to be conversant with the facts. We as Christians don't walk in fear, but the Bible says walk circumspectly in the world. The circumspectly, circum means seeing all around you, or all around, circum, and spec means to see. Seeing what is around you, circumspectly in the world. I just want you to see what's really going on. And the sad thing is, I think many Christians don't have a clue. Because they dismiss this, well, that's politics. They don't mind going to vote for the Democrat Party, which is a moral sewer, but the things I'm saying, that's politics. You really look at the book of Revelation, you can't read the book of Revelation without realizing the book of Revelation is teaching us about the politics of the end time. Because the Antichrist is going to be a politician. But, that's just biblical stuff. We don't need to get into that, right? That's politics. No, it's Bible. I didn't realize this. This woman who won an Oscar for Best Actress, Michelle Yeoh, I think I've seen her around. I've seen her face pop up in various things. Hu He-jin, one of the editors of the Global Times, said that she won the Oscar because of her Chinese cultural genes. Her Chinese cultural genes. And they said, so happy for her. China is rising and Asia is rising. People of Chinese descent and Asian descent will definitely receive more attention, gaze, and respect all over the world. Now, once again, this feeds directly into the collectivism and tribalism of the left. Because, right, you don't just see her as a human being. No. She represents China. She represents the Chinese. She represents Asians. She's part of a different tribe. And she's won because of her tribal genetics. Now, here again, I don't know whether this woman is an American citizen or not. And she didn't make the comment that she won because of her Chinese genes. But they're making a lot of, in this movie, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. They're bragging about her winning for this movie, and that this movie has not been released in China. Yet the Chinese government the communists won't let the people in China see it. They say some people have figured out a way around it and seen it anyway in China, but they won't allow them to see it. And I don't know what the basis is. I know what our basis is as a Christian culture, but they didn't like the quote unquote, their word, not mine, the gay content of this film. Well, see, I wouldn't watch that abomination to watch a whole bunch of homosexuality. I mean, but that's why it won, because look, if you want to win an Oscar, you want to win an award, just throw homosexuality out there and throw some kind of gender confusion out there and make, build some kind of story around that abomination. And man, you'll be hailed as a hero. It's the greatest piece of art that has ever been made. Because you got a bunch of men switching and twitching, and you got a bunch of women or whatever, and they don't know what they are. They don't know who they are. Yeah. But here again, what's the movie about? About some Chinese people and homosexuality. That's probably why China's not airing it, because for whatever reason, I'm not sure what the reason is. Maybe it's just their macho culture. I don't know. But for whatever reason, of course, they don't promote homosexuality. Now, the leftists would have you believe that a true Marxist or communist state would happily embrace that. But they're not embracing it. The Soviet Union didn't embrace it either. Here again, I don't know what their basis is. Our basis is the Word of God. Maybe they really are hateful. Maybe they really do hate people because of what they think they represent. We as Christians don't hate anybody. We just hate lies. And the notion that homosexuality is normal and good and right is a lie. It is simply not true. The notion that there can be a marriage between two men is a lie. It is simply not true. And the notion that two women can be married is a lie. It is not true. It's made up. It's a human fiction. And frankly, it's a societal cancer. Not the people, but the embrace of the value that represents, which is sexual anarchy, moral anarchy. Nothing, anything goes. Why? Because it's the way we feel. I mean, you realize they want you to mutilate the bodies of young children based on the way those children, quote unquote, feel? Well, at any rate, here's another instance. China in the forefront of American Oscars. China giving money to our colleges and universities. China buying up our farmland. China investing in our businesses. Let's see, here's oh man, I'm almost out of time. So I'll end with this. Here's the pièce de résistance. We are now discovering, through the great work of the House Oversight Committee, that millions of dollars have been paid to the Biden family from Communist China. They revealed that this is a result of these flagged bank transactions now being available to the House Oversight Committee to see. And apparently China's state energy business, HK Limited, sent $3 million to a company controlled by Robert Walker, who's a family associate of the Biden family. And then he distributed that money to members of the Biden family, including Hunter, Hunter's brother James, Haley, Biden's daughter-in-law, Haley, and quote, now this is interesting, and an unknown Biden. Who is the unknown Biden? You want to take a guess? We know who the unknown Biden is. The unknown Biden is Joe himself. I mean, come on. Who else would it be? An unknown Biden. Who's it, Jill? Same thing. So that's not the only payment, by the way. That's not the only payment. Another $1.3 million, let me see if I can find that, was paid to Haley Biden. Nobody knows where exactly that money went. So we've got millions of dollars flowing from the Communist Chinese to the Biden family through surrogates who then divide the money up and get it to the various people that it needs to be gotten to in the Biden family. And of course, this raises a serious question, a very serious question, as to whether the Biden family has really been compromised by the Communist Chinese, whether Biden ought to be impeached, whether on some level they've betrayed this country, and whether that betrayal rises to the level of legal treason. Now, I'm not saying it does. I don't know. But what I just shared with you raises extremely serious questions. Because if China has bought our president and bought his family, our chief adversary in the world, in addition to all the other things I've just mentioned, and that's not an exhaustive list, they've got their claws into the first family of the United States of America, we are in trouble. We are in trouble. And Joe Biden, if this is the case, he's got to go. He's got to go. He's got to be impeached, even if it meant Kamala Harris. He's got to be impeached. And if we can't impeach him, because there's really not, we'll never get rid of him that way, because the Senate won't vote for it. I don't believe the Senate Democrats would vote for his conviction. But he's got to be voted out of office. He and Comrade Kamala have got to be voted out of office. And we've got to get somebody in there who is going to do a national security audit for our country and figure out what our vulnerabilities are, because the Communist Chinese clearly have infiltrated the United States of America. And if we were to end up in a hot war with them, we're already in a cold war with them, but if we were to end up in a hot war with them, one of our biggest problems would be subversion from within by all the people that they bought up. Now, that's just the reality, folks. The people and the institutions that they brought up, that they have bought, lock, stock, and barrel. Well, that's going to do it for today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Remember, I won't be in Chicago until next weekend, not this coming weekend. I'll be at my home church this weekend, 943 Canal Drive. I'm going to be continuing to preach on the book of Revelation. 943 Canal Drive, I'll be there. Hope you'll come and join us if you don't have anywhere else to go. Service starts at 11 o'clock. We'll be live streaming somewhere around 11:20. In the meantime, God bless each and every one of you. Don't let any of this get you down. Don't let any of it frighten you. You look up, for our redemption draws nigh. And you stand up, step up, speak up, and refuse to back up. Because we cannot be defeated if we will not quit. Because we are on God's side.